My wife tried to seduce me after betraying me. I walked away and never looked back. The speakers rattled as I slid the fader up, letting the guitar riff roll out into the gym. Kids were clustered around the edges, some pretending not to care, some already nodding their heads. I had been DJing school events for a while, but this night in 2011 felt different. "Third eye blind," a voice called over the noise. I looked up from my turntable and saw her. Dark hair, light smile, confidence in her walk. "You know the band?" I asked, cupping my hand near my ear like I hadn't heard her. She grinned. "Don't play dumb. You just put on Semi-Charmed Life. Everyone knows that one." I laughed, pretending to focus on the mixer. "Yeah, but most people don't actually listen beyond the radio hits." "You?" Her smile widened. "I know the whole catalog. Don't test me." "All right," I said, leaning closer so she could hear me. "What's track 6 on their debut album?" "I Want You." She shot back the answer instantly, no hesitation. "Next time try harder." I blinked. "Okay, respect." She tilted her head. "So are you actually a fan, or are you just using their songs to get attention?" "Fan," I said quickly. "Been spinning their tracks since I figured out how to burn CDs." "Prove it." She folded her arms, daring me. I queued up another track, the opening chords of Motorcycle Drive-By, and watched her expression. She lit up like a stage light. "All right, DJ," she said, laughing. "You win." I felt my chest tighten. I had been in front of crowds before, but the way she looked at me made me feel like I was the only person in the room. "You dance?" I asked, surprising myself. "Not well," she admitted. "But I'll try if you promise not to laugh." "Deal." We moved to the edge of the crowd. The music wasn't exactly danceable, but we swayed, and she mouthed the lyrics. "You actually know the words," I said, half shouting. "Told you," she replied, tapping her temple. "I don't lie about music." Her honesty struck me. So simple, so direct. After the song ended, I leaned against the wall, catching my breath. "So what's your name?" "Claire," she said. "And you?" "Daniel. Daniel the DJ." She teased. "Nice to meet you." "Nice to meet you too." I hesitated. "You here with friends?" "Yeah, but they're probably gossiping in the corner." "I'd rather talk music." I laughed. "Lucky me then." She tilted her head again. "Don't get cocky. I'm only staying because you played my favorite band." "Well then," I said, walking back to the booth, "I guess I better keep you here." I switched tracks to How's It Going to Be. When the first notes played, her eyes flicked toward me like a secret message had passed between us. "You're doing this on purpose," she accused. "Guilty." She laughed, and the sound threaded through the chaos of the gym like a melody only I could hear. We kept talking between songs. Her stories tumbled out, her first concert, her favorite albums, her dream of backpacking across Europe with nothing but headphones and a notebook. I told her about my cheap gear, my obsession with mixing, my dream of one day producing music instead of just playing it. "You really love this," she said softly. "I do." I shrugged. "Music doesn't lie to you. People do. But music? It's honest." She studied me for a moment, then nodded. "Yeah. I get that." That was the night it started. Even now, a decade later, I remember the sharpness of her smile, the electricity of her voice. Every word replayed in my head like a hook on repeat. Back then, I thought it was fate. Now I know it was something else, something crueler hiding behind the chords. If I had known what would come 10 years later, would I still have pressed play on that song? I wish I could answer. But in that moment, all I saw was her leaning against the wall, humming along like the world belonged to us. Later that night, when the crowd thinned and the gym echoed with footsteps, she came back to the booth. "You were good," she said, brushing her hair behind her ear. "Good?" I asked. "That's it?" She smirked. "All right, you were great. But don't let it go to your head." "Too late," I said, tapping my temple. It's already there. Cocky and honest, she said. Dangerous combination. You saying I'm dangerous? She leaned closer. Maybe. Something in her eyes made me swallow hard. I'd been around plenty of girls, but none had looked at me the way she did, like she could see right through me and still wanted to stay. You ever think about what songs will mean to you years later? She asked suddenly. I frowned. What do you mean? Like, when you hear them again, they won't just be songs. They'll be memories. And they'll either make you smile or make you hurt. I thought about it, then nodded. Yeah. I guess that's the point, isn't it? Music isn't just sound. It's proof you were alive in that moment. She smiled. Exactly. If only I had known. Those words would haunt me years later. As the night ended, she scribbled her number on a piece of paper ripped from her notebook. Call me, she said, handing it over. Why me? I asked. She shrugged. Because you played the right song. I tucked the paper into my pocket, heartbeat loud in my ears. Don't lose it, she warned. Never, I promised. I didn't know it then, but promises would become chains. Walking home that night, I replayed every word, every laugh, every glance. My head buzzed with more than music. I thought, she gets it. She actually gets it. And maybe that was my first mistake, believing someone could understand me as completely as the songs did. When I look back now, the memory is sharp, almost cruel in its purity. I can still see the glow of the gym lights, still hear her voice echoing over the guitars. But every detail is stained with irony, because I know where the road ends. I know the same smile that made me fall would one day make me break. I know the same voice that sang with me would one day lie to me. And I know the same song that brought us together would one day tear me apart. If I had known that night what would come 10 years later, I whisper to myself even now, would I have pressed play? The answer never comes. Because the truth is, even then, I think I would have. I leaned back in the driver's seat, the windows rolled down, her laughter echoing through the car as the night air rushed in. Turn it up, she shouted, her hand reaching for the volume knob. I laughed. It's already blasting. You'll blow out the speakers. Who cares, she grinned, belting out the chorus. This is our song. I joined in, off-key but louder than her. She nudged me with her elbow. God, you can't sing. I smirked. You love it. She rolled her eyes, still laughing. Unfortunately, yeah, I do. Those drives became our ritual. Every night leading up to the engagement in 2013, we sang together, the band's songs weaving into our veins until they felt less like music and more like memory. When she slipped the ring onto her finger, I whispered, now every concert is ours. One a year, forever. She kissed me hard. 9 years straight. 9 shows, 9 years. You better keep the streak alive. At our wedding, the DJ played the band as we walked in. Everyone clapped, but her eyes found mine. This is it, she whispered, our forever anthem. I whispered back, our love sounds like this. Her fingers squeezed mine tighter. Year after year, the concerts became milestones. Show number 3, she said, holding up 3 fingers in the crowd. I kissed her cheek. 3 down, eternity to go. At year 5, she leaned into me, the music drowning us. Half a decade. Still feels like day 1. At year 7, I teased, lucky number 7. Still not sick of me? She laughed. Not even close. By year 9, she said it first, 9 years, 9 shows. A perfect pattern. I replied without hesitation, unbreakable. But somewhere between the cheers and the music, I started noticing the cracks. Hey, I asked one night as we sat on the couch, you didn't write me a card this year. You always do. She shrugged, eyes on her phone. I just didn't feel like it. That's not like you, I said softly. She gave a half smile. Maybe I'm just tired. I nodded, though something inside me twisted. Later, when I kissed her, her lips lingered but without warmth. You okay? I asked. Yeah. Why? You feel distant. She sighed. Don't overthink. I'm just stressed. I forced a smile. Okay. Just checking. But I felt it, the space between us widening, inch by inch. Still, I clung to the concerts, the tradition, the promise. This 10th one, I told her, it's the anniversary of love. 10 years since we started. It has to be special. She looked up from her coffee. Special? Yeah. I want it to feel like, the first time. Like we're writing another anthem. She gave a small nod, her voice flat. Sure. Whatever you want. The word whatever cut sharper than any silence. Driving one night, I tried again. Remember our engagement trip? How we sang every song, every verse. That's what I want again. She stared out the window. We were younger then. And now we're older, better, stronger. She didn't answer. Say it, I urged. Tell me we're stronger. Finally, she murmured, of course we are. But the conviction was gone. I still tried to laugh with her. 10 concerts, 10 years, I said. That's like, double digits of forever. She smiled faintly. You and your math. It's poetic math, I insisted. Don't ruin it. She chuckled, but it faded fast. On our anniversary dinner, I handed her a small box. She opened it slowly. Inside was a charm shaped like a music note. For the chain you wear, I said. To mark year 10. Her smile was polite. It's nice. You don't like it? No, I do. It's thoughtful. But her eyes didn't sparkle the way they used to. That night, lying in bed, I whispered, do you still feel it? The magic? She stayed quiet. Please, I pressed. Just tell me. Finally, she turned. Sometimes. Not always. The words hit me harder than any fight. I tried to laugh it off the next morning. You're just messing with me, right? She stirred her coffee. No. I'm being honest. But we've built everything on this. The music, the shows, us. She looked up, weary. Sometimes music fades. I shook my head. Not ours. Never ours. At the 9th concert, I clung to her hand, tighter than before. Promise me, I said, next year will be even bigger. She hesitated, then forced a smile. Promise. But her grip was loose. The cracks widened. Why don't you sit closer? I asked on the couch. I'm comfortable here. Remember when you couldn't sit far enough from me? She sighed. That was years ago. My chest tightened. And now? Now I need space. Space from me? Her silence answered louder than words. I replayed her old letters, the ones she used to write in looping handwriting, filled with hearts and ink smudges. I miss these, I said, showing her one. She glanced at it. I don't really write anymore. You wrote them for years. People change. But love doesn't have to. She gave a soft, almost pitying look. Maybe it does. I tried again, desperate. Then tell me what to do. Tell me how to fix it. There's nothing to fix, she said. There has to be. Her voice sharpened. Stop pushing. I froze. She looked away. I'm tired. That night I whispered to myself, 9 shows, 9 years, unbreakable. But the word echoed hollow in the dark. Still, I set the stage for the 10th. I booked the tickets early, chose seats close to the stage, even bought matching shirts. This one, I said, forcing cheer, is going to be the best yet. You'll see. She only nodded. In the mirror, I stared at myself. She'll remember. She'll feel it again. But another voice whispered back, what if she doesn't? The 10th concert loomed like a finish line. I told her, this is our anniversary of love. Our anthem. She smiled faintly, but it didn't reach her eyes. And in that moment, I wondered if I was the only one still hearing the music. Friday night. I pushed open the door, humming the band's latest song under my breath. The tickets burned a hole in my pocket, the hotel confirmation tucked safely in my wallet. 10 years, 10 concerts. Tonight was supposed to be perfect. I called out, "Guess who got the best seats in the house?" Her voice floated back from the bedroom. "Let me guess, row 2, right?" I laughed. "Close. Row 1. Front and center." She stepped into the doorway, hair done, dress shimmering. "You're kidding. Would I ever?" I grinned, reaching for her hand. "You look glowing." She spun slowly. "You like love?" Her phone buzzed on the dresser. I wouldn't have noticed, but the screen lit up, words staring at me in black and white. "Don't forget the condoms this time." Followed by a laughing emoji. The air vanished. My heartbeat slowed, thick, unnatural. I blinked once, twice, convinced I read it wrong. Her smile faltered. "What?" I shook my head, throat locked. My hands curled into fists without my permission. She glanced at the phone, then at me. Her face drained of color. "It's not." I turned, walking out before the room collapsed on me. Behind me, her voice cracked. "Wait. Where are you going?" I kept moving. She followed into the hallway, heels clicking. "Talk to me." I pushed the door open. "I can't." "Don't do this." I whispered, barely audible, "You already did." By the time I reached the car, my chest felt hollow. She called, phone vibrating in my pocket. I stared at it, then answered. Her voice trembled. "Where are you?" "On my way to the show." A pause. "Why?" I swallowed hard. "You know why." "Please." Click. I dropped the phone onto the passenger seat, silence swallowing me whole. Driving, the city lights blurred. I spoke out loud, but it didn't sound like me. "This isn't happening. Not tonight. Not her." I gripped the wheel tighter. She was glowing. She was mine. She was, my voice cracked. Someone else's. The words didn't sting. They floated, distant, like I was narrating another man's tragedy. Memories flickered like broken film reels. Her singing in the car, "This is our song." Her whisper on our wedding day, our forever anthem. Her promise at year 9, unbreakable. Unbreakable? I laughed, sharp, bitter. Unbreakable, my ass. The phone rang again. I ignored it. Again. Again. Finally, I picked up. Her voice rushed out, frantic. "Listen, it's not what you think. It's exactly what I think." "No. Please, let me explain." "Explain what?" "The joke? The condoms? The laugh?" Her breathing shook. "It was stupid. Just a message. Nothing happened." "Nothing?" My voice rose. "You don't joke about that with," my words broke apart. "Who is he?" Silence. "Tell me." I shouted. Finally, she whispered, "It doesn't matter." I slammed my hand against the steering wheel. "It matters to me." The car swerved, I steadied it. My voice dropped cold. "You know what hurts? You were glowing. For him. Not for me." She sobbed. "That's not true." "Then why does it feel true?" More silence. "Say something." I yelled. Through tears, she whispered, "I love you." The words landed flat. Empty. Mechanical. I breathed out slowly. "You love me?" "Yes." "Then why do I feel like a stranger in my own home?" Her sobs deepened. I pulled over, killing the engine. The quiet roared louder than any music. I whispered into the phone, "Do you remember year 5? You leaned into me, said it felt like day 1. She sniffed. "I remember." "What day is this, then?" 10 years in, and I feel like I'm on day 0. "Don't say that." "It's true." "No, please." Her voice fractured, but my heart stayed numb. I rested my forehead against the wheel. I planned everything tonight. The hotel, the surprise. I wanted magic. I know. I want it forever. Her voice cracked. We can still have it. No, my voice turned sharp, decisive. Not like this. She cried harder. I made a mistake. Just one stupid thing. I clenched my jaw. Mistakes don't come with condoms. She gasped, hurt by my cruelty, but I didn't flinch. I can't unsee it, I whispered. I can't unknow it. We sat in silence on the line, her sobs faint, my breathing heavy. Finally, I spoke. I'm going to the show. Alone? Yes. Her voice broke. Don't do this. You already did. I hung up again, this time for good. The screen lit up once more, buzzing endlessly. I turned it face down. The road ahead blurred into nothingness. My chest felt empty, my hands steady, my thoughts strangely calm. Like I was no longer inside my body. Like I was watching a stranger drive, a stranger breathe, a stranger hurt. The concert loomed in the distance, neon lights flashing. People laughing, couples holding hands, all glowing the way we once did. I whispered to myself, 10 years, 10 shows. The words should have meant everything. Instead, they meant nothing. Because somewhere between love songs and laughter, I had lost her. Or maybe, she had lost me. Her name lit up my phone again. I let it ring, but something in me knew I couldn't run forever. I answered, my voice low, steady. What now? Her tone came quick, desperate. Please, just listen. It's not what you think. I laughed bitterly. Funny, because it's exactly what I think. No, it was a joke, that's all. A joke? About condoms? Her breath caught. We're just friends. I stared at the road. Friends don't send each other that kind of message. Silence stretched. And in it, memories flooded back, the other times. Year 3, the house party. She disappeared, came back smelling like whiskey, lips swollen. She swore it was just a kiss. Year 6, the conference. A coworker's name whispered late at night. She cried, said it meant nothing. And me? I forgave. I told myself love was stronger, that we were stronger. She was drunk, I muttered under my breath. It didn't mean anything. People make mistakes. But each excuse echoed now like poison. Her voice pulled me back. You're quiet. Talk to me. What do you want me to say? Say you believe me. Say we can fix this. I almost laughed. You want me to play the fool again? She snapped, voice trembling. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that, I fired back. She lowered her voice. I didn't sleep with him. You want a medal for that? It was stupid flirting. Stupid? Or deliberate? Her breath shook. I was drunk. My chest tightened. The same script, recycled. Drunk, I repeated, the word burning. That's always the shield, isn't it? No. Year 3, drunk. Year 6, drunk. Now year 10, drunk again. Her sob broke through the line. I didn't mean it. That's the problem, I whispered. You never mean it, and yet it keeps happening. I pulled into an empty lot, staring at nothing. She pleaded, please, don't give up on us. On us? I repeated, the words hollow. Who is us anymore? We're married. We have history. We had history. She gasped like I'd stabbed her. Don't say that. I see you clearly now, I said, voice shaking. Not the woman I married. Someone else. A stranger. Her voice cracked. No, I'm still me. No, I said firmly. The woman I married wouldn't need excuses. She wouldn't recycle lies. She wouldn't, my throat tightened. Break me over and over. She whispered, I love you. The words felt like acid. You don't love me, I snapped. You love the safety I give you. The forgiveness. The clean slate. That's not true. Then why do I feel like I'm dying every time you open your mouth? She cried louder, words tripping over each other. It was a mistake. One mistake. Please. One mistake. I cut her off. 3 times is a pattern. Her sobs filled the silence. I let them. Finally, I spoke. You've been teaching me something all along. What? She whispered. That love isn't stronger than betrayal. That forgiveness has limits. No. Yes, I said coldly. Tonight, I hit mine. The quiet on the line stretched. My own breathing sounded foreign, like I was outside my body again. She whispered, so, what now? I looked at my reflection in the window, hollow eyes staring back. Now, I said, voice flat, I stop lying to myself. Her sob echoed once more before I ended the call. The venue lights glowed like a beacon as I pulled up, numb behind the wheel. My phone buzzed again, her name flashing across the screen. I turned it face down on the seat and stepped out. At the entrance, the ticket guy scanned my phone. He squinted at the screen. There's 2. I stared at him, empty. Yes. There's 2. He hesitated, then handed it back. Enjoy the show. Yeah, I muttered, my voice hollow. Sure. Inside, the air was thick with sweat, beer, and anticipation. People laughed, shouted, clinked plastic cups. I pushed through, each sound reminding me of her laughter, the way she used to grab my arm at these shows, pulling me close when the lights dimmed. I found my seat. An empty chair sat next to me like a ghost. The stranger beside me smiled. Big fan? Yeah, I said softly. Since high school. Same. My first time seeing them live. I forced a half smile. This'll change your life. The lights dropped. The roar of the crowd shook the walls. The first chords hit, and my chest tightened. I whispered to myself, she should have been here. But then the drums pounded, and the guitars wailed, and something in me cracked open. I stood, yelling with the crowd. My voice tore out of me, raw, broken. When the chorus hit, I screamed every word, louder than I thought possible. A girl in front of me spun around, laughing. You know all the lyrics. Yeah, I shouted back. Every damn one. She grinned. Sing louder then. So I did. My throat burned, my lungs ached, but for the first time that night, I felt alive. Song after song, memory after memory. Our road trip, our wedding, every show, every kiss in the parking lot after. Each lyric felt poisoned, but the music itself? The music never betrayed me. Then came the line. I've never been so alone. And I've never felt more alive. It cut through me like a blade, and yet, it lifted me. I closed my eyes, shouted it into the night, and for a moment, I wasn't her husband, wasn't her fool, I was just me. At intermission, the stranger next to me nudged my shoulder. You came alone? Yeah. Respect. Takes guts. I laughed bitterly. Not guts. Just no other choice. He raised his cup. Well, you're in the right place. Nothing heals like music. I clinked his cup with my water bottle. I'll drink to that. The second half hit harder. I jumped with the crowd, fists in the air, sweat dripping down my back. For 2 hours, I forgot her. Forgot the text, the lies, the excuses. The girl in front spun around again. Come on, dance with us. I shook my head. I don't dance. Her friend tugged my arm. You do tonight. I laughed, genuine laughter, shocking even me, and let them pull me in. We moved with the music, strangers bound by rhythm. I shouted lyrics into the night sky, each word a release, each note a knife pulled from my chest. When the final song came, the crowd swayed, arms around each other. I hesitated, then the stranger beside me slung his arm over my shoulder. Sing it, man, he yelled. So I did. I screamed until my throat tore, until tears blurred my vision, until I was shaking. The music crashed, the lights blazed, and I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Freedom. The lights came up. People cheered, hugged, spilled out toward the exits. I stayed a moment longer, staring at the empty seat beside me. I whispered, "We made it to 10. Just, not together." A woman passing by smiled at me. "Good show, huh?" I nodded. "Best I've ever seen." She grinned. Then it did its job. Outside, cool air hit my face. My phone buzzed again, more missed calls, unread messages. I slid it back into my pocket. The stranger from inside clapped my shoulder. "See you next tour." "Yeah," I said. And for once, I meant it. I looked up at the night sky, the echoes of music still pulsing in my veins. Maybe love blinded me. But the music never betrayed me. I opened the door and let it close behind me with a dull thud. The silence was immediate, oppressive. A room made for two, now holding only me. 2 glasses sat neatly on the counter. One was filled, the other untouched. I muttered under my breath, 2 glasses. 2 tickets. 2 people. Always 2, except now. My voice cracked. I dropped my jacket on the chair and stared at the bed, wide, inviting, meant for more than just me. The emptiness gnawed at me. I sat down at the edge, feeling the sheets, cold, untouched. How did it come to this? I whispered. My throat tightened. A decade, reduced to a night of betrayal. My phone buzzed on the table. I didn't move. It buzzed again, then again. Finally, I grabbed it. Her name lit up the screen. I answered, voice flat. "What?" Her tone was shaky. "You didn't answer earlier." I just wanted to explain." I leaned back on the bed. "Explain? What's left to explain?" "It wasn't what you think," she said quickly. "I was drunk. I didn't mean." I cut her off. "Stop. Stop right there. I've heard this before. Every mistake, every excuse, it's the same song." Her breathing grew heavier. "You're making it sound worse than it was. It didn't mean anything." I laughed, sharp, bitter. "Didn't mean anything? A decade of my life, and you're telling me the knife in my back means nothing?" "It was a mistake," she whispered. "You've said that before. Twice. Do you even remember?" My voice rose. "Do you remember the night you cried, begged me to forgive you? Do you remember me saying yes, because I believed in us?" Silence on the other end. I pressed on. "Do you know what I told myself back then?" She was drunk. "It didn't mean anything. People make mistakes. I carried those lies for you. I wore them like armor. But tonight? I can't. Not again." She sniffled. "Please, don't throw everything away over this." I sat up, my hands shaking. "Everything? You already threw it away. I'm just the idiot holding the ashes." Her voice shifted, sharper. "So that's it? You're perfect? You've never made mistakes?" "I've made plenty. But I never betrayed you." My voice trembled. "I never looked at someone else and decided they were worth risking everything we built." The silence stretched, then she said, "You don't understand how lonely I've felt." "Lonely?" I shouted, the word echoing in the empty room. "I've been here, every damn day, fighting for us. And you were busy finding comfort in someone else's arms." She broke down into sobs. "I'm sorry. I don't know why I did it. I love you, I swear I do." I closed my eyes, pinching the bridge of my nose. "You love me? Do you even hear yourself? You don't get to redefine love just to fit your mistakes." She begged, voice cracking. "Don't leave me. Please. We can fix this." I whispered, almost to myself, "I don't think I can." Her tone shifted again, desperate. "So what, you'll just walk away? After everything?" "I stayed before," I said softly. "I forgave before. And every time, it chipped away at me. Tonight, standing in that concert crowd, screaming words that weren't mine. I felt more alive than I ever did holding on to your lies. She went quiet. I added, for the first time, I wasn't blinded. For the first time, the music didn't betray me. But you always do. Her voice grew hard. If you walk away now, don't think I'll wait around. I almost laughed. You already didn't. She cursed under her breath. You're cruel. No, I said calmly. I'm finally honest. We sat in silence, breathing on opposite ends of a broken line. I stared at the untouched glass on the counter. I imagined her sitting across from me, laughing, clinking glasses, promising forever. That picture shattered before my eyes. Goodbye, I said finally, voice steady. No, she whispered. Don't say that. But I hung up. The phone slipped from my hand and hit the floor with a soft thud. The room returned to silence, thicker now, suffocating. I lay back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. The emptiness inside me echoed louder than her voice ever could. I tried to cry, but nothing came. I tried to rage, but even anger felt drained. All that was left was a hollow shell of what used to be love. The bed creaked under me as I turned, reaching instinctively for the space beside me. Cold sheets. Always cold now. I whispered into the darkness, I can't cry. I can't rage. I only feel empty. The untouched glass caught the dim light from the lamp, glinting like a cruel reminder. One glass for me. One for no one. The silence pressed in harder, and I finally understood, some endings don't come with fire or tears. Some endings just leave you hollow. I woke to the buzz of my phone. Dozens of unread emails filled the screen. My stomach sank when I saw her name. Against my better judgment, I opened the first one. Attached was a scanned card, my handwriting staring back at me. I read the words aloud. To the only woman I'll ever love. Forever is too short for us. My voice cracked. Another email. Another letter. Another piece of me I had forgotten. The phone rang almost instantly. I answered, my voice flat. Why are you doing this? She spoke softly, almost sweet. I thought maybe you forgot. Those letters, you meant them. I just wanted to remind you. I clenched my jaw. Remind me? Or manipulate me? Her breath caught. Manipulate? No. I want you to remember who you were. The man who loved me enough to write those words. I laughed bitterly. Oh, I remember. I remember writing them late at night, my hand cramping but my heart full. I remember sealing each envelope with hope. And now, each one feels like a dagger. You don't mean that, she said quickly. Those words were real. They were real, I admitted. But they weren't armor for betrayal. They weren't written so you could use them like chains when I try to walk away. She grew defensive. I'm not chaining you. I'm showing you that love still exists between us. I pressed a hand to my temple. If love still existed, I wouldn't feel like a stranger in my own bed. If love still existed, I wouldn't be choking on your lies every time you speak. You're being cruel, she whispered. No, I said firmly. I'm being honest. For the first time in years. Silence lingered. I closed my eyes and saw it, me, years ago, hunched over the desk, scribbling, I vow to never let you go. I vow to choose you in every life. Her voice broke my memory. Do you regret them? Every letter? Every word? I swallowed hard. I regret nothing. Because they were real then. But what I regret is believing you'd honor them too. Her voice trembled. I did honor them, most of the time. Most of the time? I repeated, anger flaring. Do you hear yourself? Promises aren't part-time. Vows aren't seasonal. She tried again. Please, just read them. Let yourself feel what we had. I shook my head even though she couldn't see me. I did feel it. Too much. I bled every word onto that paper. And now you're throwing them back at me like weapons. Her tone hardened. So you're saying it was all for nothing? No, I whispered. It was everything. But only to me. I walked to the desk in the hotel room, pulled a notepad toward me, and scrawled a line just to feel the motion of pen against paper. My hand shook. Do you know what I feel when I see those letters now? Not love. Not hope. Just proof that I loved harder than you ever could. She was quiet. Then softly, I kept every one of them. Doesn't that mean something? It means you kept souvenirs of a man you broke, I snapped. It means you saved the evidence of how much I gave, only to twist it now when you're cornered. Her voice turned sharp. I'm not twisting anything. I'm fighting for us. Fighting? I repeated. No. Fighting would have been not giving up on us the first time you cheated. Fighting would have been choosing me when temptation showed up. This is begging. This is manipulation. Her breathing grew heavier. You're cold. I'm free, I corrected. I set the phone down on speaker and stared at the notepad, imagining flames. In my mind, every letter she scanned burst into fire. Ink turning to smoke, promises crumbling into ash. I whispered to myself, burn it all. Every word. Every vow. Let the fire take it. She heard me. What did you say? I said I'm done carrying ghosts. My voice steadied. Those letters belonged to a man who believed in forever. That man doesn't exist anymore. She begged. Don't say that. Don't erase us like this. I'm not erasing us, I said quietly. I'm burying us. Her sobs came through the speaker. I never thought you'd hate me this much. I shook my head. I don't hate you. Hate requires too much energy. What I feel is worse. I feel nothing. Silence filled the line. I added, if you truly loved me, you wouldn't need to remind me of my own words. You would have lived them. She whimpered. So that's it? That's it, I confirmed. The letters are ashes now. And I'm walking out of the smoke. I ended the call. My hand trembled, but a strange calm settled over me. The phone buzzed again, her name lighting up the screen, but I turned it face down. I whispered into the room, you can flood me with words, but I'll never drown in them again. I closed my eyes and saw the flames in my mind, devouring every page, every vow. And in that imagined fire, I felt lighter. For the first time, I wasn't haunted by ghosts of old letters. I was finally free. I stared at the screen, her name flashing over and over again. My thumb hovered above the call, then dropped back into my lap. I whispered to myself, forgiveness is not love. Forgiveness without change is self-destruction. My voice sounded foreign in the silence. The phone buzzed again. This time I answered. Please, she said instantly, desperation leaking through every syllable. Just talk to me. I exhaled. Talking won't fix what's broken. It can, she insisted. If we talk, if we really listen, we can. Stop, I cut in. We've talked before. After the first time. After the second. Every time, the same cycle. I forgive. You promise. Nothing changes. That's not fair. It's the truth, I snapped. My voice echoed in the hollow hotel room. Do you know what forgiveness became for me? A slow poison. I drank it, thinking it was medicine, but it only made me weaker. Her breath caught. I thought you were strong enough for us. I almost laughed. Strong enough to carry both our weight? To patch up wounds you kept tearing open? That wasn't strength. That was self-destruction. She went quiet, then whispered, so what now? You just throw everything away? I closed my eyes. Do I respect myself enough to end this? The question thundered inside me. You're quiet, she said. Say something. My throat burned. I'm asking myself if I respect myself enough to finally stop bleeding for you. Her voice rose. Bleeding? You make it sound like I killed you. You didn't kill me, I said coldly. But you kept cutting, and I kept handing you the knife. She grew frantic. I can change. I'll prove it this time. Don't give up on me. I whispered, do you hear yourself? You're begging me for another chance, but you're not begging me for forgiveness. You're begging for comfort. For convenience. For me to stay so you don't feel guilty. That's not true, she cried. I love you. I shook my head. No. Love doesn't leave scars like this. Love doesn't repeat the same betrayals and call them mistakes. Her breathing grew heavy. You still love me, don't you? My silence was enough of an answer. She pressed harder. If you didn't love me, you wouldn't be this angry. I wish I didn't, I admitted. My voice cracked. I wish I could turn it off like a switch. But love isn't enough anymore. Not without respect. Not without trust. She softened. Then let me earn it back. I laughed bitterly. Trust isn't a coupon I can redeem. Once it's broken, it's gone. The silence stretched. My heart hammered as my mind whispered, I want to forgive her. I want to pretend. I want to slip back into the lie because it's easier than facing the truth. She said gently, we can start over. Just us. Forget the past. I clenched my fists. I've tried forgetting. Every time I closed my eyes, I hoped the past would dissolve. But it didn't. It grew heavier. So you're just going to leave me? She asked. I swallowed. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I know I can't keep destroying myself to keep us alive. Her tone shifted to anger. Coward. You'd rather run than fight for us. No, I said firmly. I'd rather face the truth than live in denial. Do you know what real cowardice is? Pretending. Pretending the lies don't exist. Pretending the betrayal didn't happen. That's cowardice. I'm done being a coward. She spat back, you'll regret this. I whispered, no. The only regret I have is not walking away sooner. Her voice broke into sobs. You can't do this. You can't throw away 10 years. 10 years were already thrown away, I said softly. Just not by me. I hung up before she could answer. The silence that followed was suffocating. My body shook, not from anger but from the weight of every word. Do I want to be alone? The thought clawed at me. The fear was real. I pictured empty rooms, empty nights, empty beds. I whispered, I don't want to be alone. But then another voice inside me countered, you're already alone. You've been alone for years, even lying next to her. The truth stung, but it was freeing. I opened the notes app on my phone and typed. This is my final message to you. I don't hate you. I don't wish you pain. But I can't be the man who keeps forgiving what you won't stop repeating. Forgiveness without change is just another wound waiting to bleed. I deserve more. I deserve peace. Goodbye. I stared at the words. My thumb hovered over send. I whispered, am I ready? The fear twisted inside me. If I pressed send, it meant finality. It meant the end of the only life I'd known for a decade. But another thought whispered, if you don't send it, you'll stay in the prison you built for yourself. I dropped the phone onto the bed, not pressing send. Not yet. I said out loud to the empty room, not tonight. But soon. The phone buzzed again. Another call. Another desperate plea waiting to be heard. I turned it face down and whispered, I'm done listening. The silence felt different this time. Not empty. Not unbearable. Almost peaceful. For the first time, I believed peace was possible. She asked to meet in person. Part of me wanted to refuse, but another part, the part that craved closure, agreed. When I saw her waiting at the cafe table, I felt a strange calm. No anticipation, no longing, no ache. Just distance. She stood quickly. You came. I nodded, sliding into the chair across from her. I did. Her eyes watered. I didn't think you would. Neither did I admitted. She reached for my hand, but I pulled back. Her lips trembled. Don't do that. Please. I exhaled slowly. Why am I here, really? To hear more apologies? More promises? More lies? She flinched. No lies. Not this time. She stopped, then whispered, I need you. I leaned back. You don't need me. You need comfort. You need safety. You need someone who will take the blame so you don't have to face yourself. Her tears spilled. That's not true. I love you. I shook my head. You love the way I make you feel. That's not the same as loving me. Her voice cracked. You don't mean that. I do, I said quietly. For the first time, I do. She slammed her palm on the table, startling nearby customers. So what, you just throw 10 years away? 10 years weren't thrown away today, I said. They were thrown away the moment you chose betrayal over loyalty. Her face twisted with anger. I made mistakes. I'm human. You're acting like you're perfect. I met her gaze steadily. I never asked you to be perfect. I asked you to be honest. Faithful. Those aren't impossible requests. She leaned forward, desperate. I can be that now. I can prove it. Let me try. I whispered, you had chances. More than anyone deserves. She sobbed. So that's it? You'll just leave me? After everything? I felt the hollowness in her words. No love. Just panic. Yes, I said simply. Her eyes widened. You can't. You can't just walk away. We're meant for each other. I laughed bitterly. Meant for each other? Do you hear yourself? Meant to lie, cheat, repeat? That's not destiny. That's destruction. She lowered her voice. Don't say that. Please. We can rebuild. I'll be better. I shook my head. You broke me once. Twice. 3 times. But you will not break me again. Her hand reached across the table, trembling. Don't do this. You know we're stronger together. I pulled back again. No. We're weaker. Every time I forgave, I lost a piece of myself. I won't keep sacrificing who I am just to keep you comfortable. Her face hardened. So you've already decided? Yes. Her tears stopped, replaced by venom. Then you never loved me. I laughed without humor. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't have endured so much pain. But love without respect isn't love, it's chains. She whispered sharply, you'll regret this. I stood, pushing the chair back slowly. Maybe. But at least the regret will be mine, not forced by your betrayal. She stood too, stepping close, lowering her voice. Don't you remember what it felt like? Us together? How good it was. I stepped back. Yes. I remember. That's what makes this so tragic. But memories aren't enough to rebuild a future. Her eyes burned. You're throwing away passion, fire, everything we had. No, I corrected. You already did. I'm just burying what's left. She tried one last card. She leaned closer, her hand brushing my arm, her voice turning soft, seductive. We can fix things tonight. Just you and me. One night to remember what we are. I stared at her, but all I felt was disgust. You think sex can erase betrayal? That your body is an apology? She froze. I whispered, you don't even realize how empty that offer is. That's all you have left to give me? A distraction? Her face crumbled. Don't say that. I shook my head. I already did. Silence stretched. The cafe noises blurred around us. For a moment, I almost felt pity. Almost. She whispered, if you walk away, I'll never forgive you. I stared at her, then said softly, I don't need your forgiveness. I need my freedom. Her shoulders shook. So this is really it. This is it, I confirmed. Her tears started again, rolling freely, but I felt nothing. No pull, no ache, no urge to comfort. Just emptiness. I turned and walked away. She called after me, her voice cracking. Please. Don't leave me. Don't do this. I didn't look back. Each step felt surreal. For years I'd imagined leaving, but never believed I could. Yet here I was, my feet carrying me farther from her, farther from the cage I once called love. Inside, something snapped, not painfully, but like chains breaking. The chains of shared history, broken promises, endless forgiveness. They shattered, one by one. I whispered under my breath, "It's over." The words didn't sting. They lifted me. Grief clung to me still, the grief of wasted years, of memories that would never be reclaimed. But alongside grief was freedom, raw and undeniable. For the first time in a decade, I felt both pain and peace. And as I walked out into the open air, I knew, this time, forever meant forever. The first time I walked back into my apartment after leaving her, I flipped the old record player on without thinking. The needle landed with a soft crack and the opening chords filled the room. It was Third Eye Blind, the same band that had been our soundtrack. I stood frozen for a second, then smiled, strange and small. A neighbor knocked on the door. "Hey, you okay in there?" she called. "Yeah," I said, voice rough. "Just, listening." She laughed. "Good. Music fixes a lot." "I hope so," I replied. "It has to." I sat on the couch, the song wrapping around me. The lyrics washed over like waves, familiar and new. I whispered along, mouthing words I had shouted in stadiums with her, and they landed differently now. No echo of her. No shared breath. Just mine. My phone buzzed with a message from a friend. "How are you holding up?" he wrote. I typed back, "Better than expected. Music helps." He replied, "Come out tonight. People to talk to, beer, stupid jokes." "I might," I wrote. "Or I might stay in and listen to the whole album." "Do both," he said. "Balance." I laughed and closed the message. "Balance," I muttered, and pressed my palm to the cool wood of the coffee table as if it grounded me. The record kept spinning. The drums hit a line that used to make us sway together. I stood and moved, alone, letting the rhythm take over. A laugh escaped me, not hollow this time, but honest. I danced like no one watched, because no one did. I felt the music in my bones and it felt like reclamation. My phone rang. It was her. I let it go to voicemail. "You don't have to do this alone," her voice said, weak and pleading. I listened for a second, then pressed delete. My thumb hovered, then moved away. I sat back down and whispered under my breath, "I don't need her voice on top of the music." Later a friend came by with pizza and a knowing grin. "You picked the right night," he said, dropping the box on my table. They had a reunion set on the radio. "I invited them," I joked. In my head. He sat down and cocked his head, listening. "Sounds like it's helping." "It is," I said. "It never lied to me." He opened his mouth, then closed it, choosing his words. "You doing okay with everything? With her?" "I am," I said. "I think I'm learning how to be myself again. It's weird, like relearning my name." He nodded. "That's good. Relearning is healing." We talked about small things, work, the stupid coffee shop down the street, a show he saw last week. He asked about the band tours we used to go to together. "Are you going next time?" he asked. "I will," I replied. "Not with her. With whoever wants to stand next to me and sing as loud as I do." "Whoever that is," he said. "You deserve someone who shows up." "Maybe I deserve to be my own someone first," I said. He smiled, proud. "Yeah. Own it." The record changed tracks. The guitar carried a pain in its tone that matched my chest, but there was also an edge of hope. I sang along, not to drown tears but to let them out on their own terms. Music was no longer a shared language with her, it was a private diary, a place where I could confess and listen and stitch pieces back together. A woman at the cafe where I wrote on Wednesdays heard me humming one afternoon and asked, "What are you listening to? You seem different." "It's Third Eye Blind," I told her. Been my soundtrack for years. Your face looks lighter, she said. Like someone finally turned the light on. It feels like that, I said. Like I'm walking back into myself. She nodded. Good. Keep walking. At night, when silence pressed in, I pressed play again. I let the same opening song, the one that started everything, spin all the way through. I listened to the lyrics with a new ear. Where I had once heard promises that tied me down, I now heard strength. Where I had once found drowning, I found space to breathe. I thought about the anniversary we planned, the hotel, the 2 tickets. I imagined the empty bed one last time and smiled at the memory that used to wound me. You were heavy, I whispered to the past. Now you are history. Text messages came from her like small storms, apologies, offers, memories. I read a few, then set the rest aside. My friend said, don't engage. Let the noise be noise. I won't, I promised. One night, alone, I queued up the song and sat with it. I pressed play where the opening chord swelled, the same place she had first walked into my life. The room filled, and I closed my eyes. I imagined the old me and the new me folding together, exchanging what they needed to move forward. The lyrics said things I had wanted to say, that life moves on, that pain changes you, that you can be remade from the pieces. I whispered them back, a solemn vow to myself. I will not return to the lies, I told the empty room. I will not recycle my hope for a broken promise. A neighbor stopped by with a spare key once because I forgot mine. He poked his head in, saw the record player, and said, "That's your band, huh? Sorry about the rough patch, man. Those songs are something else." "They are," I said. "They keep me honest." He nodded. Music is honest. People, not always. We shared a quiet laugh. Months passed like this. Small rituals filled my hours. I made coffee the way I liked it, I walked the route we once took together but without retracing old steps, I bought a ticket to a show and left the other seat empty until someone worthy took it. I started writing notes again, not letters for her, but lists of things I wanted to do. I wrote, "Learn to play guitar," on one list, and "See the band solo," on another. A friend called that summer. "You ready?" he said. They announced a tour. "I am," I said. "Buy me one ticket. I'll buy the rest when I know who I'm bringing." "You sure about that?" he asked. I smiled. "Yes. This time, the song is mine." When the day came, I stood in the crowd, front and center, heart hammering in my chest that no longer depended on another's rhythm. The lights hit the stage and I felt a surge I hadn't known in months. I sang every lyric, my voice rough but steady. Around me, strangers sang too, and for the first time, those voices weren't echoes of a past life. They were companions, temporary and true in the moment. After the show, someone tapped my shoulder. "That was beautiful," she said. "You looked like you were having the time of your life." "I was," I said. "I am." On the ride home, alone in my car, I pressed the same song on repeat. I watched the city blur and the music fill the space where anger and grief used to live. Each chorus stitched a seam. Each bridge sealed a wound, not by erasing the scar but by teaching me to carry it differently. Standing at my window that night, I pressed play on my phone and let the song swell. I whispered to the dark, "You took 10 years of my life. You taught me how to forgive. You taught me how to let go." Then, with a steady hand, I reached and pressed the button I had avoided for so long. I pressed play on the same song that had brought us together, this time, alone. I smiled into the night and said, out loud, firm and certain, "She took my trust, my love, my years. But she couldn't take my soul. That, I'm keeping. And from here on, every note, every lyric, every breath, belongs only to me." I close my eyes, and the music holds me.